There is a reason certain people walk into any room, and the room bends toward them. It isn't luck, it isn't charm, it isn't even talent. It's a code. A cold, calculated code written 500 years ago by a man exiled from power, watching kings and cardinals from the outside, studying exactly how the game was rigged. His name was Machiavelli. He wasn't born into power. He wasn't handed a title. He was a political outsider who got stripped of his position, thrown out, and left to watch from a distance, while lesser minds occupied the rooms he understood better than anyone alive. And from that exile, he wrote down what he saw. Not a fantasy about how the world should work, a blueprint for how it actually does. That code still runs the world today. Quietly, invisibly, in boardrooms, group chats, dinner tables, and DMs you'll never see. Right now, somewhere close to you, someone less smart, less driven, and less deserving than you is sitting in a room you can't get into. Not because the door is locked, because they learnt the code and you never did. Stay for the next few minutes, because by the end of this, you won't just understand why that keeps happening. You'll understand exactly how to flip it. This is Machiavellian thinking, and it starts now. Before we go further, understand one thing about the man behind these ideas. Machiavelli wasn't a villain scribbling evil plans in a dark room. He was a realist in a world full of people pretending morality alone decides who wins. He watched good men lose everything because they refused to see the game for what it was. He watched ruthless men rise because they understood something the good men never did, that power has rules, whether you study them or not. And the people who ignore those rules don't get to opt out of losing to them. So this isn't a lesson in cruelty, it's a lesson in clarity. Machiavelli simply wrote down what was already happening. In every era, in every court, in every industry that has ever existed since. 7 laws, pulled from his thinking, translated for the world you're actually living in right now. Law 1, value before affection. Machiavelli never cared whether a prince was loved. He cared whether the prince was needed. He wrote it plainly. It's safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both, because love is fragile. That necessity holds a person in place whether they like you or not. Most people chase relationships backwards. They try to be liked first, hoping usefulness follows. It never does. Charm fades in a conversation. Usefulness lingers long after you've left the room. Ask yourself honestly, if you vanished from someone's life tomorrow, would a gap actually appear? Or would the room simply close over the space you left, like water closing over a stone? Powerful circles are flooded daily with people who want something. Nobody at the top is short on requests. What they're short on is relief. What they're short on is someone who removes a problem instead of adding one. Machiavelli's prince didn't secure his territory by being adored by the peasants. He secured it by understanding exactly what his people needed to feel safe and delivering it, consistently, until his presence became tied to stability itself. That's the model. Study the pressure points in someone's world, their business, their image, their weak spots, the things quietly keeping them up at night, and become the fix before you become the friend. The needy man walks in and says, "Can you help me?" The Machiavellian operator walks in, solves something nobody asked him to solve, and walks out again without needing credit for it. One of these men gets remembered, the other gets forgotten by lunch. Think about the people you personally trust with real opportunity, a job lead, an introduction, a piece of information that actually matters. Chances are, it's not the person who talks the most about wanting it. It's the person who's already proven, in some small way, that they make things easier instead of harder. That's not cynicism. That's the same principle Machiavelli watched play out in royal courts 5 centuries ago, just wearing a different outfit. Value first. Affection follows. Never the other way around. Law to God, what you reveal here is a truth Machiavelli wrote into the foundation of political survival. A fully understood man is a controlled man. He watched rulers fall not because their enemies were stronger, but because their enemies knew them too well. Every ambition announced, every weakness confessed, every next move telegraphed in advance, like a chess player narrating his strategy out loud before making it. Every secret you spill, every plan you unveil too early, every insecurity you hand over freely, you've just given someone a lever to use against you later. Maybe not today, but eventually. Watch how the sharpest people in any room actually operate. They don't narrate their next move. They don't explain themselves to people who haven't earned that access. They let silence do the work that oversharing never could. This isn't about becoming distant, cold, or fake. It's discipline. You don't owe every person in your orbit a window into your mind, not your fears, not your 5-year plan, not the deal you're quietly working on behind the scenes. When people can't fully read you, something shifts in them. They slow down. They pay closer attention. They start wondering what you're really thinking, what you actually know, what you might do next. That uncertainty, that's currency. Machiavelli understood that ambiguity keeps a ruler standing while transparency gets him replaced. Because the moment your enemies can predict you, they can plan around you. Say less than feels comfortable. Reveal less than feels natural. Let people work a little to understand you. The ones who matter will make the effort. The rest were never worth the information anyway. Notice how this plays out in ordinary life, not just politics. The co-worker who announces every raise they're chasing gets watched, competed with, sometimes quietly undermined. The one who says nothing and simply delivers results tends to move up without anyone quite noticing how it happened. Machiavelli's silence wasn't weakness. It was armor. And it's still the cheapest, most effective armor available to anyone willing to actually use it. Law 3: approach from the side. Never the front. Everyone fights for the front door. That's exactly why the front door is useless. It's guarded, filtered, built specifically to keep the crowd out, because the crowd always tries it first, loudly, and gets turned away, predictably. Machiavelli's entire political career was built on understanding systems around power, not just the ruler himself, but the advisors, the allies, the inner circles that surrounded him and quietly shaped every decision before it ever reached the throne. He knew that influence rarely travels in a straight line. It moves sideways, through trusted relationships, long before it moves upward toward the person everyone's actually trying to reach. That's still the blueprint today. The fastest way into any closed world isn't a direct request sent cold into the void. It's patient positioning inside the ecosystem that already surrounds the person you want to reach. Learn who they trust. Notice who has quiet influence in their world, even if that person doesn't hold an obvious title. Show up in those spaces first. Build something real there, not as a strategy alone, but because those relationships matter on their own terms too. Let your name start circulating in rooms before you ever physically walk into one yourself. By the time you're finally face to face with the person you actually wanted to reach, you're not a stranger asking for a favor. You're already familiar, already vouched for, already trusted by proxy. And familiarity opens doors that persistence, cold outreach, and desperate follow-ups never will. The impatient man keeps knocking on the same locked front door, wondering why it never opens. The patient man is already inside, having walked through a side entrance nobody else even noticed was there. This takes patience most people don't have. It's slower than firing off a cold message and hoping for a reply. It doesn't feel as satisfying in the moment. But Machiavelli never cared about what felt satisfying in the moment. He cared about what actually worked. Over months and years, when the people around a ruler mattered just as much as the ruler himself. Build the side relationships first. Let the front door open on its own, once you no longer even need it forced. Law 4: read the room before you enter it. Machiavelli's most brutal insight about human beings was this: people don't trust what challenges them. They trust what reflects them. He studied rulers who failed because they tried to impose their own worldview onto people who simply didn't share it, nobles who lectured peasants, generals who ignored the culture of the land they occupied, advisors who spoke in ideals nobody around them actually cared about. Most people walk into a conversation trying to be understood first. They explain themselves, their opinions, their situation, assuming the other person should naturally relate. The sharper move is trying to understand first, instantly, quietly. Before you say a single, unnecessary word, notice the pace someone speaks at. Notice their energy, their priorities, the language they naturally reach for. Notice what visibly lights them up in conversation and what makes their eyes glaze over. Then meet them there, in their world, instead of dragging them into yours. This isn't about losing your identity or becoming a chameleon with no center of your own. It's about reading terrain before you walk across it, exactly the way Machiavelli studied a court, its politics, and its personalities, before ever offering a single piece of advice inside it. When someone feels understood, their guard drops without them even noticing it happening. The conversation stops feeling like an exchange and starts feeling like a connection. That's not an accident. That's calibration. The loudest person in the room rarely rises the fastest. The most calibrated one does the one who reads before they speak and adjusts before they're asked to. This is a skill, not a personality trait. It can be built the same way any discipline is built, through attention, repetition, and the willingness to stay quiet a little longer than feels natural, just to notice what everyone else missed while they were busy talking. Law 5: scarcity creates weight. Machiavelli watched rulers destroy their own authority by being endlessly available to everyone who asked for their time, their favor, their attention. Availability without limits doesn't build loyalty. It quietly erodes respect. Think about it in plain terms. If you answer instantly, every time, say yes to everything, and never let a moment of distance exist, you're teaching the people around you without saying a word that your attention is free. And free things don't get valued. They get taken for granted. This isn't about coldness, arrogance, or playing games. It's intention. Not every message deserves an immediate reply. Not every invitation deserves an automatic yes. Not every opportunity is worth your limited time and energy. When your presence becomes something people have to earn, rather than something they can always count on without effort, it stops being background noise and starts being something they actually notice when it's gone. There's a reason people panic slightly when someone they respect goes quiet for a few days, and feel nothing at all when someone who's always around does the same thing. Scarcity creates weight. Constant presence creates invisibility. Machiavelli knew scarcity wasn't manipulation for its own sake. It was simply human nature, understood clearly and used with discipline instead of accident. The ruler who was warm but never desperate for approval held more power than the one constantly seeking it. Be present enough that people feel your value. Be absent enough that they never stop noticing it. This is uncomfortable to practice at first. Every instinct will push you to respond faster, say yes more, Prove your commitment through constant presence. Resist it. The people worth keeping around will respect the boundary more than they'd ever respect the constant availability. Law 6. Let others feel powerful around you. This is where Machiavelli's warning gets uncomfortable, and where most ambitious people quietly sabotage themselves without ever realizing it. You can be sharper than the person above you, more capable, more talented, more disciplined. But the second you make that person feel small next to you, you've made yourself dangerous in their eyes, and dangerous people don't stay close for long. They get quietly, strategically removed. History is full of advisors who shaped kings, wars, and entire kingdoms without ever needing the throne for themselves. They understood something most ambitious people never grasp. Proximity to power is often worth more than public credit for it. Influence from the shadows can outlast influence from the spotlight. Let your work strengthen the people above you instead of threatening them. Protect their image, their confidence, their sense of control, while you quietly build your own foundation underneath it, brick by brick, unnoticed until it's too solid to ignore. The insecure chase recognition immediately. They need the credit today, the applause now, the acknowledgement before the work is even finished. The strategic let their values speak later, when it can no longer be denied, dismissed, or taken away from them. Your ego will fight you on this constantly. It will want the win announced. Control it anyway. The long game rewards patience in a way the short game never will. Machiavelli called this restraint, not weakness. The prince who let his advisors shine while quietly consolidating his own base outlasted the prince who needed every victory to carry his name alone. Ego is expensive, discipline is free, and it compounds. Law 7. Guard the story told about you. Machiavelli understood something that still decides fates today. People don't act on truth. They act on perception of truth. Your reputation walks into every room several steps ahead of you. It's already shaping how people treat you, what they expect from you, and how much trust they extend to you all before you've said a single word. That means two things, and both of them matter equally. First, be deliberate about how you show up in the world. Reliable, composed, consistent, even under pressure. One careless public moment, one emotional outburst at the wrong time, one lapse in judgment caught by the wrong person can quietly erase years of hard-earned credibility. Second, never let false stories about you sit unanswered and spread unchecked. Machiavelli didn't believe truth defends itself automatically. He believed it has to be defended deliberately, quickly, before perception hardens into something nearly impossible to undo. Guard your name the way a ruler guards territory, because reputation once lost isn't easily reclaimed. It has to be rebuilt from nothing, in front of people who are already primed to doubt you. Your name is currency. Spend it carefully. Protect it fiercely. Because once people stop trusting it, even your real strengths stop being enough to change their minds. And remember, you're also judged by who stands beside you. The company you keep, the circle you tolerate, the chaos you allow close to your name, all of it eventually becomes part of the story people tell about who you are, whether that story is fair or not. The closing truth. 7 laws. One mind behind all of them, a man exiled from the very power he understood better than anyone standing inside it. Machiavelli never promised these principles were comfortable. He never claimed they were kind. He promised they were true, and truth, uncomfortable as it is, tends to outlast everything else. Knowing these laws changes nothing by itself. The people who quietly rise aren't the ones who watched a video like this and moved on to the next distraction. They're the ones who actually apply it in the next conversation, the next room, The next opportunity they almost let slip past them without noticing. Somewhere right now, someone is reading a room exactly the way you just learned to. Somewhere, someone is staying quiet instead of oversharing everything on their mind. Somewhere, someone is becoming the answer to a problem instead of just another person asking for one. The only real question left is whether that person is about to be you. 500 years after Machiavelli was exiled from the halls of power, his thinking still explains exactly why some people rise while others stay locked outside, wondering what they're missing. Nothing about human nature has changed, only the setting has. The prince is now a founder. The court is now an office, a group chat, an industry. The throne is now influence, opportunity, access. But the underlying code, the one Machiavelli spent his exile decoding, hasn't moved an inch. If this changed how you see the game, stay close, because Machiavelli's world runs far deeper than 7 laws can hold in a single video. There's more waiting beneath the surface. Subscribe, and don't be the one who watched this, nodded along, and simply moved on.